Recently, I've been playing for a couple of really interesting Super Mario Maker stages made by Giant, and I stumbled over a stage made by him that features a trick I didn't know was possible. A trick that allows us to build a lot of interesting new contraptions, and a trick that adds a new entry onto our dangerous list of evil. A trick that allows us to build Don't Let the Cannonball escape stages. So today we're going to take a look at Giant's awesome stage, Kill All Bills and Balls, and afterwards we'll take a look at how everything worked. So you ready? Let's do this! So our stage starts simple. Mario is equipped with a shell mat and has to enter this pipe, and then the action starts immediately. Our plumber is entrapped in this room, and dangerous cannons shoot even more dangerous cannonballs towards Mario. Luckily, Mario is well prepared thanks to his awesome jump and running skills and his amazing special headgear. Mario is able to get rid of a lot of the cannonballs while he dodges the others. Sadly, that's not what Mario is supposed to do here, because Mario is actually supposed to make sure that not a single cannonball escapes. After a while, a hidden timer expires, which closes the exit and throws a dangerous muncher onto our hero's head. Looks like Mario really has to get rid of each and every cannonball here. So back to the start. This time Mario is way more careful not to allow any of the evil balls to fly upwards for eternity. Bowser may thought that he's able to outsmart Mario by building such a complicated level. But Mario is unoutsmartable. This time, no cannonball escapes. Because of this, no bullet blaster drops down, but Mario is rewarded with the exit key and allowed to proceed. Hooray! The next part of the stage is quite tricky. This area uses auto-scrolling, but not only does the screen magically move without Mario doing anything here, there are also a lot of branching paths, and most of all there are dangerous cannonballs and bullet blasters that try to hurt Mario. So Mario has to jump and dodge really careful here if he wants to reach the end of the stage alive. But as you wonderful ladies and gentlemen watching might already have guessed, reaching the end alive isn't going to do it here, because once again Mario is required to destroy all cannonballs and bullet bills before he's allowed to touch his beloved exit gateway. Since our plumber let a couple of cannonballs live here, the exit is closed and Mario isn't able to reach the end, but gets crushed instead. How crushing! So back to the beginning, once again. This time Mario does what he's supposed to do and jumps and bumps into each and every cannonball along his way. How inspiring! Mario actually is able to get rid of all dangerous projectiles that were flying around uncontrollably here. But we all know the old saying, the only thing that helps against a bad stage with lots of cannons is a good plumber with a spiked helmet. Anyway, after a while Mario reaches the exit again, but this time the bullet blaster doesn't drop down because a power block is triggered, since Mario got rid of each and every bullet in the stage, and therefore he's allowed to leave. Hooray! Okay, so how does all of this work? Well, it's actually surprisingly simple in theory and a little bit more complicated to execute. So first, the cannonball minigame. That's very simple ELB manipulation. The room is set up in a way that the ELB is at exactly 99. Once loaded. This means that question blocks are still able to release their content, but they aren't anymore if only a single object is loaded in. The cannonballs are those objects. Each cannonball counts towards the ELB, so if a cannonball escapes, then ELB hits 100 and question blocks can't release their content anymore. The weird thing is that cannonballs that fly upwards only despawn after about 25 in-game seconds, which is really weird, but actually quite interesting and useful. So the timer in this room is set up in a way that it expires shortly before the first cannonball would despawn. Because of this, each cannonball that doesn't get removed overflows the ELB, which means that question blocks can't spawn anything if Mario misses a cannonball. The mechanism that decides whether Mario is rewarded with a key or not is super clever as well. This setup triggers a power block if the ELB is full, but hits this question block if the ELB isn't full. So once the timer is over, this mechanism grants Mario a key if all cannonballs were destroyed and destroys a power block if a cannonball escaped. Awesome stuff. The area where Mario has to get rid of all the cannonballs while the stage moves towards the right uses a similar trick. So what Giant did here is roughly the following. The LB becomes filled to a point where question blocks are only able to spawn items if there are no bullet bills or cannonballs left anymore. Then there is a global timer that is set up in such a way that it expires once Mario reaches the final part of the stage. If all cannonballs were defeated, then a power block gets rid of this bomb, which means that the exit stays open. That's incredibly clever, especially the way he handles the global global timer is really smart and something I haven't seen done this way before. Sadly, having the stage run on a global timer means that it's really hard to recreate a stage built around this idea. So I sat down and tried to come up with an easier to build contraption for such a level. So here's what this looks like. First, we globally donut overflow the ELB for 94. Then we have a couple of cannons fire a couple of cannonballs. After a while, a muncher blocks the exit. If Mario got rid of all cannonballs, a power block is triggered and the path opens up. If there are still cannonballs around, however, then no power block doesn't get triggered and no exit door doesn't open up. All that we need in order to build such a contraption is this super simple setup at the top. There are two shells. One triggers a question block that contains a power block after a while. If the ELB is below 100, the power spawns and the other shell activates it. If the ELB is full, however, nothing happens and the exit stays blocked. Here we use two springs, two shells and one muncher. These items count for 5 towards the ELB. Since the ELB gets globally donut overflown for 94 at the beginning, this means that only if no cannonballs are on screen, the power is able to spawn. That's the whole trick. And that's it for Don't Let the Cannonballs Escape stages in Super Mario Maker. Shout out again to Mario Maker creator Giant for creating this wonderful stage and for being an incredible Super Mario Maker creator in general. I hope you enjoyed this little video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, and maybe you feel especially hyped for the upcoming Mushroom Kingdom Championship Finals and want to hit the subscribe button as well. I hope that you have a wonderful day and to see you soon. Goodbye!